Hello, hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show. I'm your host, Cheryl Brooks. And if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. If you enjoy the upcoming show, please like, follow, and subscribe and share the broadcast. For those of you who are new here at the Book Buzz Show, we do discuss the book with some minor spoilers, but nothing major that will ruin your reading enjoyment. In addition to being a live stream, the Book Buzz Show is also a podcast, and you can check us out when you're on the go at the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, we have a great show in store for you this evening. We have Brian W. Smith on tonight, and let me break up his cover. And here is the cover for those who are watching. And the book that we'll be discussing tonight is A Murder in NYC, A Mama and Me Mystery. It's book 1 in the series. For those who are listening later, again, that's A Murder in NYC by Brian W. Smith. All right, and without further ado, I'm going to bring on tonight's guest, along with my co-host this evening, Katina Brown, and we'll get into this discussion. All right. Hello, hello, and welcome.
Hello.
Good to have you on, Brian. I can't believe this is the first time that I'm having you on, even though we have chatted before. But
yeah, we chatted before, but you never make time for little old me. So
of course, it was long overdue to have you on here.
never make time for little me.
You said what?
You never make time for a brother.
Well, I am remedying that right now. Oh, and I have to tell you, I enjoyed the book, as I always do when I read your work.
Thank you.
But before we get into that, for those who are new to you, can you give us a little background on how you got started on your writing journey?
I started 20 years ago. After I found out through a DNA test that I was not the biological father of my daughter. So, I've told this story before. You know, when you find out something like that, you know, as a man, you can do either one or two things. You can respond or react. My reaction would have been to choke the hell out of her. But I got too much to lose to be going to jail.
Right.
So I put it in the book called Mama's Lies, Daddy's Pain. Book became a bestseller. Took the money, opened a publishing house, and the rest is history.
What year was that you first published?
2004.
Okay.
A Murder in NYC is my 43rd book.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. So I stumbled into this. I was doing the corporate thing when all this happened. And yeah, my life was totally changed. So I am proof that God can take your biggest pain and turn it to your biggest blessing.
So you weren't doing any writing beforehand. You just knew that you wanted to get something out on.
Like I was never one of these. When you hear people tell these stories about they knew when they were in elementary school they wanted to be a writer. I'm like, no. One thing I wanted to do. I'll tell you what my aspiration was. My aspiration was at the time when I found out I just finished my MBA, and all I could think about was getting on the cover of Black Enterprise magazine.
Okay.
Okay.
That was my goal. That was my goal. I wanted to be a successful, um, and at the time I had like a VP position. I was over North America for a division for a Fortune 500 company. I was 36 years old, so I was tracking that way. Um, yeah, and my daughter came to live with me. And to make a very long story short, DNA test was done while she was with me, and I found out she was 17 that I wasn't the biological dad. So I wrote a story, changed the name to protect the innocent.
Right.
Really was really was just venting. I used to keep a diary, right? I had a baby mama drama diary.
Mhm.
I had the baby mama from hell. You heard
Oh,
me?
oh my goodness.
So most of those diary entries became chapters in the book.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, the rest is history.
Well, they
So
always say that life, life is even, stranger than fiction. So when people putting this stuff,
yeah. So it's crazy how things worked out, but it's been 20 years now. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
it's all good. If you watch me on social media, my daughter and I are fine. I'm always with my granddaughter. Yeah, I'm good. I'm
I
good,
love
but
that.
I'm good. But
Awesome.
we had our rough times after all that went down. So you want to know what happened more? Go go pick up the book.
All right, all right.
That's right.
It looks like we have some people in the audience. Okay, so we have,
Mhm.
hey Erica, thank you for joining us this
Hi,
evening.
Erica.
Hey Shavana, thank you for joining us.
She says
And she
congratulations.
says congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, Shavana. Thank you.
And we have Myra saying congratulations as well. Thank you, Myra,
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you, Myra. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
We have Wyletta Dunn. Thank you for joining us this evening.
What's up, Willetta?
Shavana said you spoiled that granddaughter too.
Oh, that's my baby. That is my baby. That's my baby, man. That means that she can't do no wrong. Bad as hell. Can't do no wrong.
I know how that is. I had grandkids too.
Yeah.
Um, now, do you also read as well as write? Are you a brother that likes to read?
Oh yeah. I was but the interesting thing is that I write fiction. Um I write fiction,
Hmm.
but if you had caught me 20 years ago, right when all that happened, the only thing that was on my bookshelf was business books.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
all I read. I
Yeah.
read a lot. I just didn't read fiction.
Okay.
So it's so ironic and so interesting how now I write, but I'm a businessman. So when I
Hmm.
decided after I wrote Mama's Lies and the book did well, right? So I was like, okay, um, I could try to go get a book deal, I guess, but no, I started crunching the numbers. I was like, shit, I can own my own company. So I opened up my own company, Holly Grove Publishing, and for 5 or 6 years, I cranked out a couple of bestsellers for other authors. Within 2 years, I'd signed 7, 8 authors, and
Okay.
I didn't close the company down until the recession in 2010.
Okay. Love it. I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, so 2010, I closed the company down. I was kind of exhausted from being, running a publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an agent, and in 2011, I signed to Simon& Schuster.
Okay. Love it. Love it. I love hearing the stories about the backstories on when the authors come on and how they got started. Jennifer is saying hello. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer.
Hey,
We
hey,
got somebody on Instagram as well.
Hello, everyone on Instagram. The feed doesn't show up in the main feed, so we'll keep an eye out if you have any comments over there.
mhm.
Um, okay, so what authors do you look to? Who inspires you, or are there any that you look up to or look to?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I can't say that I have. I have authors, a couple authors that I admire, right?
Mm,
So I admire their skill, and I admire how they think. So I'm a fan of Stephen King.
me too.
Stephen King's a beast. Anybody who understands the craft of writing understands that Stephen King is a master of the craft. You know, I'm also a huge fan of Jodi Picoult.
Why?
So
Just because of the writing style?
Jodi Picoult, yeah, I mean, she's just a. I love the way she thinks. I am, I am impressed with authors who can make the mundane interesting.
Mm,
So I really admire Jodi Picoult's topic selection.
okay.
Right, so I am one of these writers. I try real hard to not write about the same crap everybody's writing about.
Mm,
Try to be very unique in my storylines. And I hope that people, when you look at my catalog, I want people to say, he doesn't write about what everybody else is writing about.
mhm.
Jodi Picoult is very good at that. Um, if you ever read her book, Small Great Things, um, she's just she's just great. She's a very, very good writer.
So you
So
don't agree with when authors say that you have to look at the trends and see which ones are what's selling and try to go in that direction.
Mhm.
no, I mean, if you always do what you always did, you can always get what you always got. I've never known anybody great doing what everybody else does.
Hmm.
I mean, you could be good at it, but you're not going to stand out,
Right, right.
right? So it's one to read the irony of that statement and your questions that I think is the perfect segue into why I wrote the Mom and Me mysteries.
Yep.
Yeah, because I looked out there after I'm about to wrap up the Sleepy Carter mystery series that I've been writing for 10 years.
Right.
Um, and I looked and I said, what's not out there? And what I did not see is someone who's a mystery fanatic, um, whether it be on TV and books. I have never seen a mystery series with two black women.
Mm-hmm. Trying
Mm.
to think. Have I don't.
No,
Yeah.
not you.
Right.
Right, right.
Maybe one.
And,
And I love mysteries too on
right,
TV and reading them. So.
even if you have seen two black women, they wasn't mother and daughter.
Hmm.
So
True.
I said, I am a firm believer that if you don't see the kind of book you're looking for out there, write it.
Mm. I like that. I like that.
So I did.
We had a couple more people in the audience. Hi, Islin. Thank you for joining us this
Yes.
evening.
And
Hey,
that's how
Sherelle. Thank you for joining us.
so that's how this series came about. Me trying to stick to my brand, which is writing different stuff.
And Shavana is agreeing with you. She says you are very unique and great, thought-provoking stories. I agree.
Thank you, Siobhan. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
All right, now, because this, like we were talking about, who is your favorite fictional detective?
Oh, Hercule Poirot, and Columbo.
I love
I
Columbo.
love Columbo. Look, I am a mystery fanatic. Look, my favorite cartoon as a child was Scooby Doo. You heard me?
Solving those mysteries. I
Yeah,
get it.
I've been a mystery fanatic since I was a child, and it's so interesting how life comes full circle
Mhm.
because I write in different genres, but I have no problem admitting to you that my favorite genre is mystery.
Hmm.
I may write another. I write suspense thrillers.
Right.
But that's because they're more lucrative.
Mm.
But if you ask me what I like to write the most, is mystery because it's what I read the most. It just doesn't sell as well.
And I'm surprised at that
I mean, it's
because
a fact. I mean, mystery out of all the genres out there in terms of sales, mystery probably ranks fifth or sixth
mm,
Wow.
I love that.
behind romance and all these other genres. There are a lot
Right.
more lucrative genres out there.
Well, I know
Um,
romance is up there. And that's
Romance
what you
to
got a
this
lot.
day is still the best selling genre. But you got fantasy, you got a lot of genres out there.
Right.
Mystery probably ranks somewhere around fifth or sixth.
Hmm.
So and I think it's because quite frankly, Um, it requires more thought. You know, you're trying to read, understand, and catch the clues. And
Right.
a lot of times people just want to escape. They don't want to think that hard, and mystery requires you to think a little.
Hmm. And that's what I love about it, trying to
Yeah.
figure out who did it. And,
Yeah.
Mhm.
now, what's your favorite? Because okay, like with Columbo, they show you in the beginning who the killer is,
Right.
but the thing is following Columbo as he follows.
Yeah, yeah. So there's two types of mysteries. You have the Columbo style mystery, where they show you who the killer is,
Right.
Columbo, and this new television show Elsbeth that's on NBC.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have the Who Done It style mystery,
Right.
Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, where you don't find out who it is till the end. I prefer that style.
Yeah, I do
My,
too.
with my Sleepy Carter, any mystery book I write, you're not gonna find out who did it until the last 10 pages.
Mm.
Mm.
You know?
Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Midnight, thank you for joining us. Oh, Myra's saying hers too. You love mystery too, Myra?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jennifer is saying Scooby Doo is her favorite cartoon too.
Look at it. I look at all these Scooby Doo fans. Scooby Doo fans unite. If
Oh
it wasn't
man.
for these meddling kids, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, so how is it being a black male author in this industry? Are there any challenges?
Um, no, I mean,
No more than
I
any
don't.
other
I
place?
mean, no more than look. If you can write, you can write. If you can't, you can't. Um,
Mhm.
no, if you ask me, I mean, there are challenges for black writers. I don't know that the black male author is
Is
any
uniquely
is any you. Our challenges are no different than our collective challenges as a race. The
mm,
industry, the industry treats us as um, an afterthought, which is why I never pursued a book deal when I first started. I
mhm.
Mama's Lies, Daddy's Pain was put out by my publishing company. I came out the box being the boss.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I only I signed with Simon and Schuster just because it was just a good strategic move in and my agent talked me into it. Quite frankly,
Mm.
I had already Simon Schuster bought a book from my catalog that I had put out 4 years earlier. So I wrote a book in I want to say something like 2008. I wrote a book called Nina's Got a Secret. Book did well, sold thousands of copies, and the book landed on the Oprah magazine and
Okay.
what your book club should read.
Mhm.
A literary agent saw that. They saw it in Oprah magazine. In O magazine, she used to have a column called "What Your Book Club Should Be Reading," something like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it just so happened that year I was at the National Book Club conference in Atlanta, Curtis Bunn's event. So no, we back. It was 2012 when I was at the 2010. I'm sorry, I was at the National Book Club conference, 10 or 11 up in there somewhere. Um, and I was on stage, and I get off stage, and the agent who became my agent was in the audience, and she cornered me and pretty much signed me right down the spot. And within 4 months, yeah, I had a couple of offers from several publishing houses.
Okay.
And they bought the rights to Nina's Got a Secret, which at that point was 3, 4 years old, repackaged it, re-put it out, and it had already made like the Dallas Morning News and all these different bestseller lists when I did it. But when Simon Schuster repackaged it and re-put it out, I mean it when it dropped, it was on Amazon and Dallas Morning News again,
Mhm.
Target, everybody's bestseller list, so it did well. Um, but I I like the distribution of it, but I've never relied on the industry. I signed that Simon and Schuster deal because I understood the business and that they have very deep pockets.
Right.
and they can get the book in places I couldn't, like Germany and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But other than that, I have no use for a publishing house. I like to be the boss. I like to be in control.
It ain't
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, Erica is saying her grandfather got her hooked on Columbo and Roro, as he called Perot.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Columbo and they're just see. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how I that's my thoughts on the industry. That's my thoughts on whatever. Yeah.
These are some favorites of mine too, Jennifer. She's saying she loved
Oh
Matt.
yeah, I like Perry Mason. Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a big Perry Mason fan. So I got an old soul, I guess.
Mhm. Still watch all of those too. Okay, so when you're looking for a good mystery or thriller, what's your go-to? Either a book or movie or series?
Um, when I'm looking for a good mystery, I go to Agatha Christie and her Poirot series. I mean, it's something in her catalog. Um, yeah, I go to something in Agatha Christie's catalog, or I'll go to I have a big I have a big old Sherlock Holmes.
Hmm.
Like you name it, I read it, man. I read. I get inspired by that, and then I'll just start. Usually, I'll put down whatever I'm reading and start writing myself. I find it inspirational. I find it motivational. Put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone just starting out in their writing journey?
Um. I, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself: are you committed to being a writer, or you just interested? There's two different things. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are interested in being authors.
Hmm.
They like the idea of book signings and you know the photo ops and right. But the moment, yeah, but when that pressure get on them and they got to put that book out at a certain time and you don't know what the reviews gonna come back and yeah, it's very or if it comes out and the sales aren't exactly what you want,
Right.
it separates the fakers from the real
Mm.
quick. But besides that, I just think people need to learn the craft. One of the downsides um, about this, the um, the ability to bypass the major publishing houses the way things used to be
Right.
and self-publish. It's a beautiful thing, but it also creates a situation where people um, they bypass learning the craft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they learn the craft. So I take great pride in learning the craft. Yes, I write books and I've been writing for 20 years, but I'm also a college professor. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I've been a college professor for 14 years. And right now, as we speak, I'm a college professor of English and creative writing, but I'm also a ninth grade high school teacher. I'm
Mm.
a high school teacher by day and a college professor by night.
So you
Um,
got a lot on your plate and
the
writing and
point that I'm making is that I am always studying
right.
craft. And
Mhm.
I just see a lot of authors. Um, there's no reason why you are out here calling yourself an author, and I got 10th grade students that can write better than you.
Good point.
Uh,
And I think you're the first one that said that because I always ask the question and get different responses as far as the advice they would give. So
yeah,
I like
every author out there, every aspiring author out there, you need to go take some creative writing classes. Learn the craft. You know, I look at it like this, Sharon Katina. Anything that you want to do right, you need to take seriously. You know
hmm.
what I'm saying? And, just because you read a lot of books doesn't mean that you can write a book. You know, hell, I've driven a lot of cars in my life. That don't make me a mechanic.
It's true.
Valid. Valid.
All right. Okay, so the book that we're discussing tonight, you all, is A Murder in NYC, and it's the start of a new series for Brian W. Smith.
Mhm.
And for those who haven't read the series yet or the book yet, can you give us an overview of what it's about?
Yeah. So like I stated earlier, I wanted to write. I needed to come up with a new series. I didn't need to. I wanted to come up with a new series because I'm wrapping up the Sleepy Corner mystery series that I've been writing for a while, and I was looking for something new to write, and I came up with two ideas. One was my version of the Hardy Boys mysteries back in the day. That they,
Mhm.
so
It's the love one.
right, so I created my own mystery series with kids, with two black kid and Hispanic kid, and I write it under a pseudonym, Holly
Okay.
Holly Grove, and it's called the Mia and Josh Mysteries. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's two ninth grade students, um, and you follow them from ninth to 12th grade. You're going to follow them, but the first book in the series is called The Case of the Stolen Exam.
Okay.
So it's basically my version of what becoming a ninth grade teacher, high school English teacher, has taught me that these kids don't read enough. They just don't. So
Yeah, especially in this day and age. You're right.
the only thing they care about is those damn cell phones. So
Right.
I decided to not only write a mystery series for kids, but to write a mystery series because I'm always looking for what's not out there.
Mhm.
Write a mystery series for teens starring a black and Hispanic teen.
I love that.
So
And I
it's
did not
called
know that, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
Mm.
yeah, it's called the Me and Josh Mysteries. You can find it on Amazon. Um, the first the first book in the series, it just came out Christmas.
Okay.
And the first series, it's written under Holly Grove. For those who know me, I'm from New Orleans, 17th Ward, area called Holly Grove. So that's my pseudonym, Holly Grove. Sounds real white, don't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know what Jennifer is talking about right here. She says she
I
want to
want to
thank
thank
you for
you.
the advice you gave about the men in the barbershop.
After that advice, I quit going to the barbershop when my youngest son at the time, he's 22 now. Gosh, I give so much advice. Um, um, especially when I used to drink shit. I'll be
So you don't know what you.
no, I kind of remember this conversation with Jennifer. I'm sure if I pull it up, I'll be able to see it. Um, it's vague though. I don't want to sit here and pretend like I know exactly what it is. I do vaguely remember the conversation with her, but it's eluding me right now. So Jennifer, if you can add some context, baby, I appreciate it. Um,
Oh man. Okay, so let's get into the characters of the book.
so let me just say this. That's how I kind of got I get sidetracked. It was a two-part answer.
Okay.
I created two. I started the Mom and Me series because I needed something to replace Sleepy Carter. Um, so that's the adults, and this was the kids. You know what I'm saying? So I
Okay.
had these little projects going, and yeah, so yeah, that's where it came from. Put out I wanted to put out something representing us and black women.
Mhm.
I just didn't see them out there. So um, I have been blessed to travel a lot of places. You know, the passport has quite a few stamps on it.
Okay.
So what I said I was going to do was because these got to be unique, right? So I said
Mhm.
I am going to write a series about a black mother and daughter. The daughter is a former homicide detective
Hmm.
who happens to inherit a lot of money.
Mhm.
And when she inherits this lot of money, she finally gets an opportunity to quit her highly stressful job as a homicide detective.
Hmm.
When her mom asked her, "What are you going to do now?" She said, "I'm going to do what I always wanted to do." and that was become a travel influencer.
Mhm.
And she looked at her like she was crazy. Like,
Like she was crazy. But daughter is now wealthy enough that she can actually not work again. So what does
right.
mom tell her, right?
Mhm.
So it just so happens the week before she's going to start her new career as a travel influencer, traveling the globe and doing like they do on TikTok and YouTube, right? Um, a hurricane comes through New Orleans, wipes out her mom's house, and her mom has to come live with her in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And mom says, "Well, can I come with you?" So they end up going to these different places, and every place they go, a damn murder happens. They just
Of course.
mom's like bad news flip flop, right? So what it's enabled me to do is that I have been blessed to travel to a lot of places and I've lived a lot of places. I mean, for 10 years I was in the army. I spent 10 years in the army.
Mm.
So I mean, I've stationed everywhere from Seoul, Korea to
Okay.
San Francisco. So every place that I've lived and traveled, whether it be the Amalfi Coast, last year I went to Amalfi Coast, and um, 2 years ago I took my sons to Egypt to see the pyramids. So every place that I've been is going to be a place where they travel to because he's a travel influencer. So the next
Right.
book that comes out is called A Murder in San Francisco. And the one after that is I rotate. So the next one is called a murder in Capri,
Mm-hmm.
in Italy. The
Yeah.
Isle of Capri. I mean, Amalfi Coast. That all that stuff is connected out there. So a murder in Capri, and then I come back to the States. It's a murder in San Francisco for book 3, and then book 4 will be a murder in Egypt. So every place that I've been will be a place that this couple will travel, and it's going to be a 20-book series and a murder in NYC, which I took my sons to New York 3 years ago. I do these boys trips with my 2 adult sons. They grown, but
Yeah, I love that though.
um, so every year we go somewhere. The first place I ever took them, I knew they hadn't been to New York, so I took them to New York, and we spent 3-4 days in New York. And so I said, that's the perfect place to jump this series off is New
Mm-hmm.
York. And yeah, like I said, next year the next book that comes out will be Italy. But that's where the idea came from. I wanted something fresh and new, and it's a mother and daughter tandem. And the tagline on the cover of the book says, "Solving murders is easy, coexisting is the challenge."
Mm.
Mhm.
Because mom is
I love the dynamics of just
yeah,
of the
mom is
mother and
always in
daughter.
her business.
Right, right.
Mama trying to get her husband. Mama, I want some grandkids.
The mother was hilarious.
Mama's a
Ida,
firecracker.
Ida
Mama is
was
a
hilarious.
firecracker. Mama's a firecracker. And there's a constant theme throughout the books where she's like, "Mama," because Mama's
Right.
always doing something.
Right, right.
Mama's never met a stranger. Mama will cut
Love
you
you.
out. So Mama's in this book. Mama's kind of like the comic relief, and the daughter is the detective. But
Right.
what I also wanted to do is I wanted to create this dynamic where the daughter uses all these fancy investigative skills that she learned,
Mm-hmm.
and mama uses common sense.
Right.
And they come to the same conclusion.
Same conclusion.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, so I hope you get all of this in this book, and I really enjoy writing the first one. Miss
Yes, because
Tina, you read
just
it?
when you
Did you read
said
it?
that, yeah, I remember when the mother pointed out something that she
Right.
didn't see. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Jennifer says when you discuss animus and the zooming. Okay, yeah, that's when me and you spoke the first time about animus.
Mhm. Okay, all right.
That's another good one for y'all to pick up as well, animus.
Yeah.
You still don't remember. Hey,
Y'all,
Ola.
y'all better leave me alone. It's too. You know what though? Well, if I start talking to Jennifer, I'm gonna know exactly what she's talking about. I just need I need her to give me a sentence starter.
Oh man. Hi Tony, thank you for joining us and thank you so much. I hope you continue to tune in every week. We'll love to have you.
Tony, let me show you how this world works. I know Tony. You know where I first met Tony at? In
Where?
one of the places that's going to be a place where they travel in this book. I think it's slated to be like maybe book number 10. I met Tony 30 years ago in Seoul, Korea.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
I know, right? I met Tony 30 years ago. 30 at this point, probably pushing 35 years ago, getting real close. 35 years ago in Seoul, Korea. So, yeah, life is crazy. Hey, Tony.
Jennifer said the ending. You talking about Animus? She said the ending took her out. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I try to, even with my suspense, it's interesting because even with my suspense books,
Right.
that mystery theme. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, we were talking about men and the barbershop, and yeah, men talk more trash in the barbershop. I
can
remember
believe
that. I got you. I'm with you. They try to laugh at it, but I'm right there with you. Now I remember.
Yes. Oh man. I could really relate to Tiny, the daughter in the book, because she's basically at a crossroads where she's trying to figure out what she knows she's burned out, and she's looking, and luckily she was able, like you said, get this inheritance where it opened up possibilities where she's able to do what she's always wanted to do without worrying about having to, keep the job that she's been in. So I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that.
I also, I was very close to my mom, who died of cancer. And she was also a victim of domestic violence. So my mom and I were very close. She died in 2003. I spent a lot of time trying to pay homage to her in different subtle ways. These characters are named after my mother. My mother's name was Ida, nicknamed Tiny Smith. Her name was Ida. Her name was Ida Tiny Smith. And the mom in this story is called Ida LeBlanc.
Right.
And the main character is called Tiny.
I love it.
The characters are really named after my mother. Yeah.
I lost my mother years ago too to cancer, so I know that's a great tribute to her. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So yeah, that's so there's a lot going on with this personal, and it is one of those series where there's a lot of reasons behind why I chose to do this. And ladies, I don't know how successful it will be. One of the beautiful things about my career at this point is that I can take chances. I have a big enough catalog I don't have to worry about eating to survive. I wouldn't say experiment, but I can it's the kind of thing, quite frankly, that a lot of writers wouldn't do, because I learned from the Sleepy Carter series that it takes a while to build up a brand with the mystery character.
Right.
But what it also taught me was to not give up. I remember after the first 3 books in the Sleepy Carter mystery series, they're not even, you can't even find them in paperback, because I didn't put them out in paperback. They wasn't selling. So I only produced them in ebooks.
Okay.
But last year, that series is in Hollywood now, and and a movie came out, Premonition, where legendary actor Bill Duke is playing Sleepy Carter in the movie.
You just never know how things are going to turn out.
Look, I am a firm believer that I'm proof of what happens when you stick to it. Even when it wasn't selling, I continued to write it. And now you got Bill Duke, and in the movie he's holding up my book. I'm writing lines for Bill Duke for this, because for those who don't know, I also own a company where I write movie scripts. I turn authors' books into movies, scripts. So last year I had the privilege of writing, co-writing a movie that's starring Bill Duke, and Bill Duke is playing my character, Sleepy Carter, and I'm writing Bill Duke's lines. It's crazy.
Mm, I love it, love it, love it. I saw it when you posted it, and I
Yeah.
love that.
You can, for those who don't know, you can find Premonition right now on everything from Amazon Prime to Peacock to Tubi. It's all over the place. But
love it.
that series is coming to an end, and I need to replace that. And I just thought that this was the perfect series to do it. Something that represented Black women who are severely underrepresented in mysteries, in the mystery genre, whether it be in books or on TV. Black
You
women
definitely don't see it on TV much.
if you don't believe that they're underrepresented, spend one day watching the Hallmark Mystery Channel. You're gonna see a dozen stories of white women, or the coffee shop murders, and all these different. Not one Black woman anywhere to be found. So,
and I do watch a lot of Hallmark. You're right.
So my vision is to I will be writing the pilot episode for Mama and Me television series, and we're gonna pitch it to Hollywood.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Tony is saying that she saw it. She saw it and enjoyed Premonition.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm gonna my intent is to this will be pitched to Hollywood, and you know, I don't know, the Holy Spirit just told me to write this. I mean, I don't question God's presence anymore. I don't question God's voice. I just do it, and we're gonna let the people fall where they may.
I love the premise. When you first said something, when you first mentioned it, I knew I wanted to talk. You know, get you on the show to talk about it because I knew that that was something that I would be interested in reading. Katina, what was one of your standout moments or heartfelt moments in the book? We usually do that on the show.
I love that. I kind of felt like I was in New York. You know what I mean? I felt like I was, eating the lobster.
Right. And you know what? Because every time we go to New York, we get stopped. We eat at Junior. So when you put that in there, I was able to. It made me feel like I was back.
Yeah, like I was there in all those moments with all those,
Thank you. You know, that's so when you hear me say, what advice would I give to aspiring authors? But in no way am I suggesting I've mastered the craft. I haven't. I told you, I still teach, and one of the cool things about teaching any subject is that you're constantly learning.
Right.
But the more you've mastered anything, the better you become at it. So when you say that you could feel like it felt like you were in those scenes, that's the ultimate compliment any author can get. So I thank you because look, this is escapism, and if you felt like you were actually in that scene, then I must have described it right.
You did.
One of my favorite scenes is when Ida was talking to the girls, the ladies that she met at the precinct.
Yeah, so in the prison, in the jail cell, right? So
right.
That is all about. I hope y'all caught this. What I'm trying to establish, and all of this has to come out in the first book, because I won't spend as much time doing all this in subsequent books. I have to establish their personalities, right?
Right.
So what I was trying to establish is that mom has never met a stranger,
right?
And she's an extrovert, and Tiny is an introvert. And they're trying to do this. They're trying to do this together. And Mama, it's like
right.
Even when she gets tossed in jail, she lecturing and everybody like,
and everybody listening.
Everybody your babies after a couple of hours, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or when they go to see Mitchell Moody at the book signing,
right.
Just roll with me. Just roll. Just roll with me. Just roll with me. And she pretends to be blind, right?
Right.
She just roll.
And her daughter said, "Okay, I'm gonna have to just go with this."
But the detective, Tiny, her constant thing is, "Mama."
Right.
Right.
Girl, shut
Then
up.
she goes along with it. Her mother
Just
always
roll
gives
with
her
it.
the
Just
prologue.
roll with it. So you will see that theme. You will see that theme throughout every book where Mama just, but Mama is as feisty as Mama is. She's still her rock.
Right.
She's still her rock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, Mom is a hellraiser, but she's still the foundation, and she's the one who keeps Tiny grounded. And I think we all need somebody like that in our lives. That I don't care how many attaboys you get. I'll give you an example. Cheryl and Katina. There's a partner book where they're. I don't want to give it away, but they're talking and Tiny curses. She smacked inside the head like
right.
You know what I'm saying? Just that. I remember writing that saying, "Do you really need to put this in here?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I need to keep reminding the reader that there's a hierarchy here, and it doesn't matter what they're dealing with. Don't get it twisted. Mama's still Mama.
She's still Mama, right? And I like that, and I love too the different aspects in the book. I like the backstory that we got on them. Because
there are a lot of things that's setting everything up. I already know what the series is in. I already know all 20 books in the series, and I know how it's going to end. Everything. That's all I'm gonna say is everything that you've read, you've read it for a reason.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. There's nothing throwaway. I don't write like that. If you read enough of my books, you know everything matters, even when it looks like it doesn't matter.
Because when we're reading, we're always trying to figure out. I know Cheryl and I do the same thing, and we're always trying to figure out who done it. And even if it's not a who done it, we're always trying to figure out the culprit or whatever. So even with all the characters, with all their motives for wanting to take out one person, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, am I going to see this person again? Because she, you know what I mean? So that was always in the back of my head.
Well, let me ask you this.
At least I was hoping I would.
Well, let me say this. And the readers, we're not giving away any spoilers. I'll just ask the question. Did y'all guess who done it before the ending?
I think I have. I think.
Oh, so you ain't at the ending yet. So there you go.
I know.
Okay. So if you're not at the ending,
I'm at the end.
I'm at the end. Yeah, I'm at the end, but I still think I know because the people that I always think did it are the
right. So you know what that tells me?
Think.
You know what that tells me? Y'all ain't got a clue.
Oh, she.
Wait a minute, you got it. You have it in there where you kind of figure that stuff gonna be revealed in other books is not totally. So what we thinking right now may not end up being.
Well, I'm gonna ask y'all some pointed question. Have y'all got to the end of A Murder in NYC? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yep.
You finished the book. You got to the last page. Boom.
Yeah.
When you got to the last page in that particular mystery, did you figure out who did it before you got to the end?
No. Not before.
No, not before I got. No, not before.
All right, then good.
No.
Good. Y'all, and let me tell you something. Y'all also, you know what? Y'all gonna be hitting me up in a couple of years and be like, Brian.
But even in your thrillers,
look,
y'all
gonna be wanting me to pay for y'all therapy. How about that?
Right. And that's what I'm about to say. That I love that you added that aspect in it as well, showing that.
Yeah.
I love when they show the characters, going to therapy and trying to work out. She understands that she needs somebody that she can get things out without
even that scene. So I for several years I lived in Monterey, and just last year I'm a big. You guys asked me when we first started who do I like. I'm a big John Steinbeck fan.
I love him too.
You had to go old school. You could probably tell that if you read the book. So Just last year I went to John Steinbeck. I used to live in Monterey. Every place that I wrote about, that
You've
Monterey
lived.
area, Salinas, I lived there for 3 years. That's where I was stationed at after I came back from Korea. I was stationed in San Francisco and Monterey for 3 years. So I've been to John Steinbeck's childhood home and all this stuff. So when you see me writing about it, I even named the psychiatrist Steinbeck.
I've
Right?
noticed that.
Yeah. So everything I do with the purpose.
That's
You
awesome.
know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I really hope y'all like this series. I'm enjoying watching it. And one of the things that I like about this series also is that you have the characters, but because I've been blessed to travel to a lot of places, um, every location becomes a character.
Mhm. Mhm.
When I take you to Egypt, one of the things that this little subtlety. So when I took my sons to Egypt last 2 years ago, and we go and we at the pyramids and all this stuff. One of the things that made me just blew me away. I'm 6 feet tall. Those boulders, those boulders are bigger than me.
Mm.
And from pictures and television, you can't tell that.
You can't tell no.
So those are the kind of real life experiences that as a writer you try to bring to the book. And so when I take you to Italy to the Amalfi Coast, you're gonna feel like you've been to Naples and Italy and Capri and all these different places. And when I take you when they get to Egypt, you're gonna feel like you've been to Cairo.
And that's what I wanted. Yeah,
You know
as
what
a
I'm saying?
reader, that's what I want.
And
Yeah.
that's not. I don't. I think what makes my book stand out is that when I write about her going to counseling in Monterey and the Steinbeck, and I talk about, that's not a Google search. That is Brian having lived there, and I'm writing what I know.
Mm.
And I'm hoping, I've always hoped that, but I hope that is that's what separates my books from somebody who's Googling shit. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you.
So when I say to you, she's parked 10 miles from where Steinbeck once. I know that because I know the distance.
Right.
I know the road. So yeah, so everything is it's the difference between um um. So I was telling one of my students, I was explaining to some students of mine at the college, and I said, there's a difference between someone who's just singing. Um, you can always tell when a singer has lived what they're singing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always tell when somebody's just singing.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, Donny Hathaway had this song called "A Song for You,"
Mhm.
right? Just him and the piano.
Mhm.
And then years later, Christina Aguilera remade the song, and she can sing. She has a powerful voice, but the
Yeah, she
song
does.
was garbage. And we were talking about writing and feeling, and they were like, "Why do you think that's the case?" I said, "Because Donnie, if you know anything about it, Donnie killed himself a few months after that
Mm-hmm.
song came out.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie was going through something. You can
Yeah.
hear it. Christina was just singing something."
Mm.
When you read my books, I want you to feel like, okay, there's a difference between somebody who's writing about something they read on the internet and someone who's actually been there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I felt that with New York, even though I've been to New York, but it made it even more because I was able to still like some of the places that you mentioned I hadn't gone to
No.
when I
Yeah.
was there.
One of the places that I took the very first place my sons and I went to when we got to New York. I'm a big Basquiat fan. You know, I'm a Basquiat fan. Jean-Michel Basquiat. I took
Right.
him to the Basquiat. There's a Basquiat exhibit. We
Right.
got off the plane and went straight to Brooklyn to catch the Basquiat exhibit. So that's why that woman's at the Basquiat exhibit when she approaches her.
Right.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Right. So yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed the book and I can't wait
Mhm.
to read the rest of the series. And I encourage everyone in the
Mhm.
audience to grab a copy if you haven't already. You will enjoy it.
Mhm.
Katina, did you have any other comments before we go into our second segment?
No, it was quite a journey, and I was always looking for little jewels because I like the little jewels, the little things that
Mm-hmm.
nobody would pay attention to, and to hear you bring those jewels to life is like epic. So
Well,
I appreciate.
I thank you, ladies, for having me. Thank everyone who came on. Um, thank you. I don't know what y'all expected. I appreciate who came on. Thank you for checking us out. I hope everybody walked away feeling like they learned something and intrigued by reading the book, even if you haven't. If you haven't read the book, you can find it on Amazon. Just type in Brian W. Smith. Make sure you put the W in there because there's a lot of Brian Smith.
Right.
So put the W. And if you want an autographed copy in my books, just go to my website. Just go to brianwsmith.com.
Yeah, look like you have a
Copies of
question in
Holly Grove books. The ISBN number, they can just order do the ISBN number.
yes,
And
Rio has her own bookstore.
right. So so they can order them. ISBN number is right there. They can order them. Is it Sherelle or Cheryl?
Sherelle.
Sherelle. Or if they want to contact me directly, just hit me up. Let me say this. I'm happy to say. So let me put this out there. I gotta plug this. Y'all don't give a brother to come on often, so let me plug this right quick.
Don't look at him.
Yeah. I'm talking about you too. So in 2015, I wrote a book called Quagmire.
Mm-hmm.
Quagmire is being turned into a movie this year, so make sure y'all look.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Casting starts this summer. Um, for those who don't know, Quagmire is a book about Thank you. I will check out your catalog. Thank you. So for those who don't know, Quagmire, I wrote Quagmire in 2015. Quagmire is about two brothers and two twin sisters. One brother is married to a twin sister. This twin sister is 9 months pregnant. She's having a baby shower, and her twin sister's coming to town, but she never arrives. The woman is
Oh
looking for
man.
her twin sister. Her husband says, "Why are you up at midnight?" And she says, "I'm waiting on my sister. She never arrived. I know that our plane landed at 6 p.m. and it's midnight. She still hasn't made it here." He said, "Let's go to sleep. I'll wait for your sister to come." It starts raining. Then there's a knock on the door at midnight, and it's his drug addict brother who stays in trouble. And he says, "What do you want?" This is the worst time to come. He says, "I'm in trouble, and you're the only attorney I know." He says, "Well, come on inside. You got 5 minutes, but I got my own problems tonight." He says, "What is your issue?" He said, "My issue is I killed somebody." He said, "Who did you kill?" He said, "I killed your sister-in-law."
Only you.
So now this man is standing in his living room and he has to make a decision. Do I go tell my 9 month pregnant wife that the reason her sister never showed up is because she's dead and the person who killed her is my brother who's standing right there?
Mm, mm, mm.
It's a Y'all know what the Quagmire is, right?
Right,
Quagmire means dilemma.
right.
So I wrote Quagmire in 2015. It became a bestseller, and I'm happy to say that it's being turned into a movie this summer. So y'all look for Quagmire, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about. Go out and get A Murder in NYC.
Yes, make sure you pick that up and
Yeah,
pick
you can
up
find it out
your
there.
other mystery.
Amazon. You go to my website, wherever you can find it. So thank you, ladies, for having me. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for coming on. I enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, baby. Y'all be good.
Continued success.
All right.
Thank you.
See you later.
Good night.
Bye bye.
All right, we're going to get into our second segment. Go to let's see. Tony says she read it and shed a few tears. It sounds like he know he can. He put those twists in there. Yeah, I highly recommend you all check out his catalog because we had a very good discussion when we discussed Animus because that really has some twists and turns as well. Let's see. Okay. All right, we're going to get into our second segment where we give our weekly highlight. our book highlight for the week. And for those who are new, the highlight doesn't have to be something that we read this week, but something that we really enjoy and we want to share it with you all. All right. So you want to go first, Katina? Let me bring up your. Let me bring it.
No.
All right, Katina's. Here's her highlight for this week. Love this cover though, for real.
Yes, Lord.
Shavonna, you still in the audience? I know how you love the cover too.
It don't hurt. It don't hurt. Don't
Oh man.
hurt the eyes at all. So this is what is this? Homies, lovers, and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm saying this right,
Jaquel J.
Jaquel J. This I ran into after we finished Delgado.
And I'm reading Quasm now. Well, I'm reading that and Ballers. I'm going between both of them.
Yeah, Ballers is out too. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of I love that the first series, and I just had to keep going. Once I find an author that I absolutely love, I just had to keep going and going and going. And I ran into this one. This is actually 6 books.
Yeah, I told you that I tried.
You tried.
But I think, like I told you, I think it's a bias of mine because I don't really like a lot of like young adult stuff, just because I like the characters to be more like emotionally mature.
That's right.
So it's still a good book, so don't go by me. But it wasn't my cup of tea. But what was it that you loved about it?
Well, but you kind of and with this, you grow with them as they maturing.
Maybe I didn't go far enough then because I didn't see any growth. Seemed like they were making the same mistakes, same issues over and over. So.
It was a rinse repeat, but I think as others were getting a clue, others were still floating down that little rabbit hole of like making the same bad decisions over. And if some just got it, it took a little longer to get to it. But
Jennifer, I think Katina liked this one a little more than me. But I do love her Delgado family, as you all know.
I mean, the men, they're alpha men,
Yeah, but I'm not into. I don't know. I just I did like I can't even think. I've been reading so much since then. What's this guy name right here? I keep forgetting his name.
This guy is there's a few in here.
So the main one that's the one that's with the one is with
there's
what's her name? Michelle. The one that's with Michelle.
She's with Thor.
Okay, so I did like him, but
yeah.
I mean, I liked all of them. It's just like I said, I just don't like young adult. I very rarely. I have read some that I do like, but it's usually when they're more self-aware.
Some of them are younger, but these are because some are in their like 30s.
Are they in their 30s? They can't be.
Early 30s.
Jennifer, are they? I think they're like in their 20s. I would hope. Oh man!
I mean, some of them are young, like early 20s. So you can understand one of the characters who she's always going back and forth and flipping, and not, still trying to. And a lot of them were forced into being adults before they had the chance to actually be like young adults. Because one of them, Kelsey, she has a daughter that has.
Kelsey, I really had a problem with her.
Right. So it was like her decision making was based on, her bad relationships with her ex, her relationship with her mother, or should I say non-existent relationship with her mother. So she's trying to come into her own, trying to support her child, trying to become a woman. And it's all just a mishmash of just.
I liked how she was with her daughter. It was the relationship with the man with Millie that
Yeah.
I couldn't, the back and forth. But you already know that's a pet peeve of mine anyway.
No.
And when it's like dragging out over several and nobody is growing up or growing, I couldn't. And so, but so that's, like I said, that's just my own personal thing. That's just a pet peeve of mine. So I couldn't.
But you hang in there.
It was frustrating me.
But what you get in the mix of all of that, you get a sisterhood, right? You get the two women that are kind of right for each other, and they support each other. Sometimes not always in the best way, but they're there.
She did. She stuck by her through everything.
They stick by each other. You also get a brotherhood because the brothers.
And even the brothers is making some stupid what's the other one's name? I'm like, I can't.
As Mello.
And his brother, right, Mello. I was like, I'm like, I can't.
That whole situation with him was just boom.
It was I couldn't.
Gotta read it.
But that's stuff that you sometimes probably would make in your like maybe teens or 20s, maybe, right. I don't know. And then you got some old fools too. So
yeah, you do.
I couldn't.
Yeah, but I think toward the end, when you get toward, and I'm thinking Mello, I think he didn't get a clue really until like book 6.
See, I can't go I can't go that long.
He's finding his way, but in between, the others are getting there, and there's also like insecurities. Because one of them was with domestic violence, so she's trying to get through that mentally and be able to be in a loving relationship with a man that actually is not going to hit her, and not going to put her in the hospital. So she has to get over those things and those, hills and everything. And even their mom, the boy's mom, who's still trying to. She's still kind of figuring things out too, with her life, and that ends up making sense too. But you gotta stick it out. But I think I just kept turning pages, and I kept going and going, and I was on to the next as soon as I finished the first one. Went to the next. So it going on.
I made it to book. I didn't even finish book 3, but I made it to book 3.
Yeah.
Because even in book 1, I already knew that I probably wasn't going to, because I even reached out to Jennifer. I said, okay, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I already knew that I wasn't going to probably deal with. But I went to 2, I went to 3, and then I even looked at the synopsis for the one for 5 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then I was looking at, and it was saying that they still was dealing, like Kelsey was still dealing with the same. I can't. But like I said, that's just my personal bias, so I'm sure you all will enjoy it.
It's a good story
because I don't read a lot of YA for that reason, because it just frustrates me.
That too, I don't like it that much either. That's not my favorite either. And this will probably be the last of it for me, but I did enjoy this. I think I've got my and sometimes you get into a genre and you get stuck in it.
Sometimes we ain't gonna agree on every book, right? And me and Jennifer don't agree on it either. She told me too to keep going, but I couldn't. I
was okay. I'm okay with jumping out.
I can only go to 3, but that's the good thing about books. There is, everybody opinion is different.
I loved it.
But yes, definitely, y'all check it out though and let me know what you think. But I like I said, and because I think that Gato fan, I think they're all like in their like mid-30s, I believe, aren't they?
They are. They're older. They are.
And maybe that's why I gel with that one a little more. I don't know. But
even in this one, because they're in the club, and they're partying and drinking heavily, and
right.
doing things that they shouldn't be doing, so stuff like that, getting arrested, all that fun stuff. So,
but okay, tell them again what it. Okay, I think I missed you. So you said you like the sisterhood and the brotherhood.
The brotherhood, even though they were doing, and I think they were being accountable to each other, because that's what I loved about the brothers. And even though they weren't real brothers, I like that they kept each other accountable, and it wasn't like it was a strong like you effing up type of thing. Too, they're getting into fights
Right.
like because they were so angry that they were disrespecting this woman and blah blah blah, and they were taking it to heart. How the brother Mello, and Millie just was not having it, and he just
Right.
thought how disrespectful, and they just didn't get along. They didn't talk because he thought how he was mistreating, his
Yeah,
wife.
and I do like that he held his brother accountable, and I believe that's why he took so long to tell them what was going on.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I did like that
yeah.
aspect.
And even though they had their own things going on, when something happened, they dropped everything and was there
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
Even if they were arguing, just had a fight, and they still showed up for each other.
Right.
And that's what I loved about it.
And that's some of my favorite things too about to read about. Okay, so I'm trying to find my. I don't know what's going on. I was trying to find my notes earlier, and now I'm trying to find my notes for my highlight, and I don't know where I laid it, but I'm gonna have to go off the cuff. Okay.
Okay,
All right. So that was Katina's highlight. Were you done?
I'm done. Yeah.
Homies, Lovers, and Friends by Jaquel J.
Okay.
All right. And mine for this week is A Treacherous Christmas by Natisha Rayner. And I started reading Natisha last year,
Hmm.
and I started with Carried Away, and then her Treacherous Twins series, which is all combined with Carried Away, and then her Wives in Chicago is all in one series. And this one is part of that series, and it's the Christmas story, but it's so much in it, and you get what I loved about it is I love reading Christmas books anyway. So you get the Christmas feel,
Hmm.
and I love that the family comes together for the holidays. We learned in previous book that two of the main characters, Wise in Chicago, lost their father, so they all come together, to support their mother and the rest of the family through their first holiday without the father, the patriarch of the family.
Hmm.
And we get a lot of things that I love when I read a book. We get uh, birth of the baby. We get some weddings from the previous books in the series.
Hmm.
We get a lot of heartfelt moments, and then I see the growth too from when Justice and Loyal and Truce and them were all introduced. With Justice, especially, we see him grow in this book. Um, his relationship with Lauren and his having his kids and stuff, I think has really um, made him grow where he's thinking about other things than being in
Okay.
the streets. We also see some growth with Wise. We saw that in his book too, but we see that in this too.
Okay.
In Chicago, I love the way they love on their mother and support her.
Hmm.
It shows them as very very attentive sons in this book. So I love that aspect as well. Um, but it was really really good. Like I said, you're gonna get the Christmas holiday spirit in it. You're gonna get family. You're gonna get some street stuff because that's where they are, the Wise and them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but it was very good. And then we also find out at the end of this book, we get like a little sneak peek into her next book, which is a standalone that comes out on January 21st, which I can't wait to read. Um, and I wrote it down, but of course, because I can't find my I can't find my notes, I can't remember the name of it. But I highly recommend this. If you haven't read the rest of the series, though, I suggest starting with Carried Away, which is the first book
Carried away. Okay.
That's Truce's book, and then it goes into the treacherous twins with Loyal and Justice, and then it goes into it goes into Chicago and Wise's book. Wise is first, I think, and then Chicago.
How many are before this one?
I think this one is right after Wise's book.
Okay.
So this is the 5th book.
Okay, that's not bad. Are they? Is it a?
You already read it, didn't you? Because you weren't you on the show with me? Or was
Didn't I? Yes.
Maybe it was.
Yes, I did. No. I think somebody else, but I think I remember seeing it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if you haven't read it, you'll love it. It's a good series.
So is the title is giving like there is something bad that happened in the book?
The name of the series is a treacherous twin.
Oh, okay. So it's just treacherous.
So it's just a carryover from that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy the series. If you haven't read the series, the beginning of the series, I suggest checking that out before you read this, so you'll know what's going on in this one. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening and for being so engaged. That's the end of our show for today. And be sure to continue to be lit, get lit with the Book Buzz Show. And then I'll see you next time. We have some great authors in store for you for the remainder of the year. So I'm excited about that and can't wait to talk to them. And we came on 7:30 today, but the normal time for those who are new is usually Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. It may change sometimes depending on the schedule of the authors or if something, where I need to change it. But you can always keep up at the Book Buzz Show on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram to know what shows are coming up. All right. Again, thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Bye.